to save the world entire. Why was man created alone? Is it not true that the Creator could have created the whole of humanity, but man was created alone to teach you that whoever kills one life kills the world entire, and whoever saves one life saves the world entire. Paraphrase from the Talmud. Imagine you are a devout Catholic and live in a small mountain village. It is snowing, it is cold. Your home, just a bedroom, a main room and a kitchen, is heated by a wood stove. You share your home with two other adults, both family. War is raging around you. Day and night, you are likely to hear shelling. Food is scarce. More than one home in your town is being torched. The inhabitants inside burned alive for hiding Jews or partisans. Imagine there is a knock at your door at nightfall. It is dark when you open the door. Ushered into your home is a scared young child. There is blood on his clothing. You know he is Jewish. What would you do? And after you decide to keep him, what then? Here I concentrate only on one aspect of my somewhat paradoxical and miraculous survivor, and this has to do with the people and with the location. The day after I arrived, Joseph and Paulina sat me down to teach me my new identity. I had a new name, I had a new family, and they also taught me to memorize a set of sentences. They started with Oče naš ko nebi. We practiced the sentences until I could recite them by heart, as though I had known them throughout all my life. They instructed me to recite them if asked to do so by the Ukrainians who fought on the side of the Germans, the Gardists, members of the Slovak fascist Linka Guard, or anybody else for that matter. They gave the blurb a name that made no sense to me, but I did memorize the sentence, which was just an unintelligible garb to me. I do not remember if I had to recite them ever alone or only as part of a group of children, but I knew them well. What were these sentences, and why were they so important? Of all things, the teaching them to me was the first course of action upon welcoming me to my new home and my new reality. The Holocaust ended. Years passed. I went to school. I studied math, languages, science, world religion. I was in the army. I married, created a new family. From time to time, I would come face to face with an echo from my past. I repressed them. Conversely, from time to time, I would come across a passage or person that I knew that I had seen before. I knew that it was familiar. I searched my memory, my knowledge, and my past, all in vain. I did not find it. The failure to identify what I sought to remember tormented me for a while. Slowly it faded. Other interests, other worries filled my mind. I can honestly say that I dwelt upon the lines taught to me so long ago in the small snowy village by people who loved and cared for me. More years passed, and I moved my family to the United States. Slovakia became independent and appointed an ambassador to the United States. He tried to rally support for Slovakia and got a list of all residents of the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area and its environs who he considered to be Slovak. Suddenly, for the ambassador at least, Dean Professor Dr. Frieder was transformed. He was no longer the stinking Jew he has been considered while actually living in Slovakia. He was now a respected Slovak. I was invited to a reception in the embassy. I hesitated. I had never identified as a Slovak, and the new Slovak flag is almost identical to the old fascist flag. Eventually, I went there. My curiosity got the better of me and compensated for my aversion to everything Slovak. Slovakia is 85% Catholic, so it was not surprising that the reception opened with a short prayer of thanks recited by a Slovak Catholic priest in Slovak. Otče náš, ktorý si na nebesiach, posväť sa meno Tvoje, príď kráľovstvo Tvoje, buď voľa Tvoja, ako v nebi, tak i na zemi. Chlieb náš každodenný daj nám dnes a odpusť nám naše viny, ako aj my odpustíme svojim vinom a neuved nás do pokusenia, ale zbav nás z neho. Lebo Tvoje je kráľstvo, moc i sláva teraz a vždycky a na veky vekov. Amen. The first words caught my attention. The closing words seemed familiar and disturbing. I mulled, I contemplated, until suddenly, like a blinding lightning strike, the words hit me. That was the blurb that Joseph and Paulina had taught me, the meaningless set of slurred words, except now they were clearly enunciated. I approached the priest and casually inquired after the prayer he had recited. It was the Lord's Prayer, he told me. I went home and opened the New Testament, in my case in Hebrew. Here it was. But I was reading was the Lord's Prayer. His words clear, sentences well phrased. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Itkadal v'itkadash shmei rabbah. Our Father clearly stated, not slurred, as in possibly our other. Our Father in the language of the country, even back then when the Mass was recited in Latin. Our Father, possibly one of the only two prayers known by Joseph and Paulina. Those wonderful, ignorant, intelligent, primitive, yet full with the knowledge of life. Angel, our Father, thy kingdom come. Avinu Malkeinu. Arguably the most Jewish part of the Christian liturgy. They told me the prayer the way they knew it, instinctively, slurred, without passing it. It was a mantra that identified children who should live and the lack of it would kill. It was a mantra demanded by the murderers from the children they met, and those who did not know it did not survive. It was the shield by which Joseph and Paulina protected me from the evil, not only because they knew that I needed it, but also because they were professing what they believed in. That faith, personalized for them by the Lord's Prayer and by Hail Mary, was a necessary shield in those dark times. It sustained them as they prayed every night before the picture of the heart of Jesus that they hung on every wall in their hut. And it was the reason that they and their fellow inhabitants of that hamlet saved numerous lives. In a country where the president, who was a Catholic priest, paid the Germans to kill the Jews, those true humanitarians taught the Lord's Prayer to save a Jewish child. Whoever saves one life, in this case by faith and prayer, our Father who art in heaven, El Maleh Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, gather under your wings these righteous souls.